welcome back to another video, everybody. Today we are standing here with a Japanese mid-engine turbo classic, the Toyota MR2, and we're going to walk around the specs of this car and what makes this car so special. So now we're going to walk to the back and show you the engine that powers this car. So right back here, you'll see we have the 3S GTE engine, which was only offered in the Toyota Celica and the MR2. They're Japan's exclusive engines. This engine makes 245 horsepower right from factory and 224 foot-pounds of torque. This car weighs in at about 2,700 pounds, giving this car a 0 to 60 in 6.1 seconds. And this car is also capable of achieving 155 miles per hour. So we're going to talk about a little bit of facts about the MR2. So the SW20 MR2 started production in 1990 and ran until 1995 in the United States, and worldwide continued until 1999. This car comes with full 4-disc brakes, which is pretty cool to see, especially for it being such a lightweight car. This car usually comes with staggered wheels from factory, and they have since been changed to a square setup, but I think the owner's plan is to go back to a staggered setup, which we will get to in a little bit. The first generation MR2 was Japan's first ever mid-engine car. This is the second generation, and the third generation would be the MR2 Spider. The first generation would be known as the AW10/AW11. MR2 on the back here stands for midship runabout two-seater or mid-engine rear-wheel drive two-seater. This car came with two different options. You could either get a slick top or T-tops, which the slick top would usually make your car a little bit stiffer. So as you can see, the turbo model only came paired with a manual transmission. The turbo model had a 350 foot-pound capable of torque transmission, as to the NAs was only capable of taking up to about 250 foot-pounds of torque. The turbo model transmission also has longer gears than the naturally aspirated version. Another cool, interesting fact about the MR2 is even Lotus helped with the design of the suspension in the first generation MR2. So there is a big aftermarket support for this car. You can get all sorts of body panels, aftermarket parts to make it look meaner, things like side skirts, lip extensions, bigger wings, all sorts of fun things. You can even mod out your interior. I mean, there's websites like Prime MR2 and just all these other MR2 websites that just are dedicated to performance parts and exterior parts for these cars. These cars are notorious for getting Honda K-swapped, but the 3S GTE has a lot of performance modifications you can do to them. So either way you run your MR2, there's a lot you can do with them, and they always look and sound so sick. Another cool little fact about the Toyota MR2 is when this car was released in Japan, they put it up against cars like the Honda NSX, the Toyota Supra, and a Ferrari 348 on the TV show in the 90s, Best Motoring, and this car beat all three of them in the quarter mile, which is kind of crazy to think of. All right, guys, we're going to move over to our second location, but I'm actually going to bring you guys in the car with me this time, and so here we go. We're going to get in on the wrong side of the car, and here we are. So Brendan's on this side. This car being from Japan, it's obviously right-hand drive. If you're new to cars and learning about that, so that is why we are on the left-hand side. We are in the United States, if that wasn't already obvious. And yeah, now we're gonna go cruise over to our next destination. Oh, that's so beautiful. Hear the turbo flutter like that every time. That is amazing. So we are just now hanging out in the MR2. It's actually, to be really honest, being on this side doesn't feel as weird as I thought it would have, like just driving around. I'll have a little bit more update as we go through the video, but it's not too bad actually. And honestly, in this car, I'm actually super comfortable. This is one of the smaller JDM cars that I've ridden in, and it's actually funny because it's got a lot more room compared to even, I feel like the 180SX that was a little more scrunched up. In our friend's S13 Sylvia was a little bit more scrunched up as well. There's a lot of room, and especially for being a smaller car than those cars. Got a lot of dash. I mean, a lot of room. I'm actually really, really comfortable. And we sit super low. Hey, what is up, guys? So right now we are cruising in the car, and I wanted to introduce this to my friend Brendan. He has the YouTube channel JDM MR2, where he makes videos on how to install different parts on your MR2, just walk arounds, going through the import process. So highly recommend checking out his channel. And a huge shout out to him for taking me for a ride in this, and just, letting us make this video. So again, go subscribe, JDM MR2. So I figured I'd talk to you guys a little bit about the interior, and in what better time than while we're sitting in the car. So we're gonna run right through it. I'm a huge fan of the material going down these door cards, and all this black vinyl is super sporty, very luxury feeling. Right down here, cool enough, a Japanese, I'm sure, requirement is a flare down by your feet on the passenger side or just in the vehicle in general. Even this has some carpet in the door panel as well, which is kind of cool for the 90s. You got a little speaker down here. The radio would be awesome, I'm sure, if the driver was able to figure out this radio. It is all in Japanese still. The GPS thinks we're cruising around like Osaka, Japan. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. But I don't know, very, very, like I said, spacious as can be. I don't feel uncomfortable in this at all. Toyota MR2 floor mats, just like factory. Man, I'm just really enjoying my time in this car. I'm not sure if the tweeters are a factory option or if someone had installed those in Japan. They're very fitting. They look great.
Our factory.
These are factory tweeters. That is cool to know, actually. Right over here, this is an addition the owner of the vehicle had added. It's a flower in resin as the shift knob, which is just awesome looking. Like very, very fitting. This is a 5-speed manual transmission, and I love that little TRD badges. Another very nice, tasteful touch down there. Everything is obviously in kilometers. You got your little digital clock right there. We'll sit on the passenger side in a few minutes and just kind of go over what the gauges look like over there. I want you all to know I totally sit on the passenger side, which you got to give me some credit there. But I don't know, all these other cool little things. Oh, we got a little mirror right here. Yo, that's perfect. They're not as small as like the Miata or the Alfa Romeo's sun visors, and even in here you got these crazy big LEDs for the interior lights. There's nothing cooler than seeing two white right-hand drive vehicles in one place. That turbo flutter is nuts. She really comes to life in the higher RPMs.
That was like right around 5,000.
Wow.
That's when it kind of
starts to bolt to life, yeah. Brendan, hit the horn.
No.
It's worth our friendship. Also wanted to show you guys this pretty sick model he had of his car inside of his car. This is like perfect, dude. Absolutely nasty. Figured you guys would like to see that. Another cool, I'm going to say interior feature, but he lays it out at some shows inside the car too, so just cool to see. So we're going to walk into the interior now. Right over here we have the tri-spoke steering wheel. Like I said, everything is in kilometers. We have the aftermarket boost gauge, and this car has a rev limit of 7,000 RPMs, which is so cool. Very, very clean. Like I said, you hop right in. I love the designs on the seat that perfectly match the door card. And right in here, we have this very unique center console. I'm a big fan of this. It's out of the way. It just really complements the car. This car actually does have some factory kind of almost chrome tint right on the sides and in the back. And I mean, that's pretty much all there is for the interior. But it is a very comfortable, fun car to just go ride around in. And I have driven it just up and down the parking lot once, and it was just such an experience. So another cool thing to add as well is this car, making 245 horsepower, also has power steering and AC, which are two pretty luxury amenities to have in your sports car. So now I'm going to close this up, and we're going to move over and show you guys some of the storage you have. For being as small of a car as this is, you do have storage under the front. Bam. Open this up, and right in the front here is this beautiful, very, very clean Cusco front strut brace. And down there is your battery. Usually your front tire would sit here, but who needs it? And yeah, that's about all. I mean, you take that out and you just have, again, so much more storage. Then it doesn't even end here. Right back here, you have the lid to get to the engine, and then you also have another trunk. Like, that is a big trunk to have, including having the frunk. So very, very spacious. You have a ton of room with this car to just store whatever you need to and go across the country. So now we're going to talk about some of the exterior parts of the car that I'm a big fan of. So we're going to go through some of the factory things first. Right here, you start out with the pop-up headlights. I mean, who doesn't love that on their 90s Japanese vehicle? You get the factory fog lights. We're going to walk on down here. Another cool thing is 94 and up, you get a color-matched stripe to your vehicle. Anything below that, and typically the center line is black on the car. And color-matched, it just looks so much better. I do love the sportiness of these vents. This side is for your intake, and the other side is for your intercooler. So they are both very functional vents. And I love that, just the twin cam 16 valve turbo written down the side of the car, just to show you how sporty it is. Very sleek, nice mirrors. And I mean, like I said, this is a very sleek, sporty, small style car. The exhaust is aftermarket, but I'm just in love with the dual tips. I mean, that is so aggressive. This is the kooky style taillights, and there is the Zanky style as well. We're going to move along. You do get this factory wing, which is just another very cool thing to see on the MR2. And even then, just for some airflow, your lid is vented for the engine, just to allow heat to escape, air to come in. So it is, like I said, just a very sporty car. I love that the antenna goes down. Is the electric antenna that goes up when you turn the key. Had to show you guys. And then, when he turns it off, just as simple as that, goes back down. Bam. Just showed you guys that. The color matched door handles. I'm just all around very, very, very beautiful car. So now we're going to walk around some of the mods that Brendan has done to his car so far. So right over here, we have the Avid 1 AVO 6 square setup wheels. His plan is to move over to a staggered style TE37 setup in the future, but when he got the car in from Japan, it was on some mixed match wheels, and this is the great place to start. He also has the blue color matched accents in the wheels, and it also follows throughout the Cusco strut bars and the factory strut brace that he had powder coated in the engine bay, which we will open up for you guys right now to show it off. So as far as we know, this is a Tom's carbon fiber air filter box, which is a little bit harder to come by. Very cool to see, very, very functional as well. Right over here, like I said, is the Cusco strut bar and the factory strut brace that has been powder coated since then. This car is rocking a very thick aftermarket intercooler. So just all these little things really do add up and help make your car stiffer and make more horsepower. He does have an aftermarket exhaust. We are not too sure what brand, but in a future video on Brendan's channel, you can see him installing a Burke exhaust he did just get for the car. So that is going to really make this thing come to life. Right here, he has installed a hood strut instead of using the hood prop, which is just another very convenient modification to the car. Right inside here, as I said, he has done the aftermarket shift knob, e-brake boot, and that looks amazing as well. He did find these made to look like factory floor mats for the car as well, which is super cool. Another thing I did want to mention about this car as well, which is kind of one of the most important things, is this car has a Tomei racing differential, which I'll play a clip so you can hear it. And when you hear that clacking, that is the limited slip differential just going to work. So this car can just be punched around the corner and lock up the wheels and spin right around. The owner does believe that the previous owner in Japan was possibly racing this car just around, whether it was autocross or something like that, or a big open circuit. So someone was definitely having some fun with this car when they had it previously. And honestly, we're going to go through the only con I could really find about this car. So between the first generation and earlier models of the MR2, the only big con is snap oversteer, which is just when you're letting off the throttle in the car. And if you're pretty new to driving these and you're not very well experienced and you take a corner too fast and you let off that throttle, your car will want to come out one way and then it snaps right around the other way and you get oversteer. Toyota did try to help fix this in 1993, making some suspension improvements within larger brakes in the front, and they also added bigger anti-roll bars in the front. Another small thing they did too is increasing the wheel size to help fight against it. But honestly, that was the only con I could really find on this car. So I do have to say, I had a ton of fun coming out and filming this car. Brendan is like one of my best friends, and I've been bugging him about filming this for a little while. So again, massive shout out to him. Go follow him at JDM MR2 and mainly MR2 on Instagram. We will have plenty of videos coming out in the future on his channel, and even on mine. I'm always filming different things that he's been doing to his car. So be sure to check it out. This has just been an extremely awesome experience being able to ride around in this and just go have fun for the day. This is kind of what we live for. So again, thank you so much for checking out today's video, and I will see you all in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.